I just spent the last 5.5 hours living the plot of a John Green novel, and I have photo evidence for everything I'm about to talk about. Our story begins with me leaving my hotel at 1 p.m. to go eat at a cafe on the beach in Tel Aviv. This is the first time I have left the hotel room that day because I'm a lazy fuck. 5 minutes into me going outside, I see a woman sprinting across the sand carrying her shoes because the sand is very hot. By the time she reaches the shade where I am, she starts panting out of breath like a dog because she just sprinted pretty far. And then she starts talking to me. I thought this was pretty funny. We talk. I was wearing a hat and sunglasses. I take them off. She says, "Oh wow, you have a very nice head." We start talking a little bit. She's from Switzerland. She's half Swiss, half Israeli, speaks 5 languages, also an absolute hippie. Literally direct quoting things like "all you need is love" and "you are not a machine." We walk around in Tel Aviv. We end up in one of the street markets. We're walking along. She picks up an orange off the ground. This is the orange. While we're talking in the market, she tells me, "Oh, I missed my flight yesterday because I did not check that my time zone had adjusted correctly on my phone during the entire week-long trip I was in Israel, so I missed the flight." And then I treated her to a meal because she was low on cash. We talk about life in the cafe. We take a photo shoot in front of this little painting thingy because she liked it. I will get to those photos later. But while we're talking and eating, she starts pulling onion slices out of her sandwich to put in my salad. And then eventually we start talking about, stress relief, like I don't drink or smoke or anything. And she's like, "Oh, so you don't do anything. So what do you do to relax? Are you a pervert?" That was a very out-of-pocket question. Did not know how to respond to that. Here is me looking off into the distance in a cafe in Tel Aviv. Then we go and take a shot together of arak. She finds a flower on the ground and sticks it in front of the camera when I try to take a selfie with us. This is us taking the shot, face blurred for privacy. Then her phone is almost out of battery, so I offer to go back to the lobby of the hotel I was staying at to go charge it. We end up making 4 wrong turns on what is supposed to be a 10-minute walk. And we just so happen right around the corner from the hotel to end up running into an old weed-smoking buddy that she had from 2 years ago who she had met exactly 1 time. His apartment was right there. He let us inside and we had some beers. Manic Pixie Dream Lady did not remember his name. He was still completely comfortable letting us into his house. Also, the guy and Manic Pixie Dream Lady are sharing a joint at this point. At some point during the conversation, the guy asks me, "So, Daniel, what do they teach you about the moon landing in America? Like, do they teach you that it happened?" I'm like, "Yeah, in America, they teach us that the moon landing happens and that people who say it didn't happen are seen as kind of crazy." And he's like, Yeah, that's the propaganda they would feed you. In America, they only show you what you want to see. You'll never know the truth." And then he starts talking about how there's a clip out there of how Buzz Aldrin, admitted that the moon landing was fake, and that he said that if you go back and watch the original moon landing from, the television clip, that you can see that the special effects aged really poorly. At some point, Manic Pixie Dream Lady also decided, you know what I need to do? I need to drench myself with a garden hose, so she completely soaked herself with water in this man's porch. Apparently also, 2 years ago, she had doodled on a wooden block that he just had lying around, and this man kept the wooden block for 2 years and still had it to give back to her. Then we finally go back to my hotel lobby so that she can sober up a bit and get some water, and then I give her $5 worth of shekels in order so that she can afford the night stay in the hostel she's staying at, and also the bus fare to the airport in the morning. And after that, we go onto the beach for just a little bit to screw around. On the walk over, I realize that she doesn't have a suitcase and no place to stay. So I ask her, "Do you have a suitcase? What happened to it?" And she said that she has nothing, just the backpack that she's wearing. Immediately after she says this, we go onto the beach and she goes wading out into the water as far out as she can while her head's still above it and completely soaks everything in her backpack, nearly breaking her phone. Somehow, though, the cigarettes in her bag are completely fine. So we go back onto the beach and she's like, "I want to smoke a cig." She starts asking around. The first people she asks have a lighter to give her. And then as she's lighting this cigarette in front of them, she's like, "Do you have any weed?" And the guy with the lighter is literally holding a lit joint and is just like, "Yeah, take a smoke." And that was how I left her. And for those of you who have been following my page for a while, you know that I have old person riz and that old ladies approach me in public. This was that. I went to Israel, the old person riz followed me across an ocean and multiplied. This lady was 41. So yeah, I literally lived the plot of a John Green novel, and not only did I live the plot of a John Green novel, that orange was in her bag the entire day. So every time that we sat down to take a break or she had to ruffle through her bag, it showed up. That orange had thematic symbolism. It was a metaphor and you could have written an essay about it. And I do not know what it is about me, and me specifically, that gets Manic Pixie Dream Ladies to scurry to me like rats. I see you, Sukai. She literally scurried to me like a rat scampering across sand that was too hot for it to touch. My life is entirely fictional, and I feel like I am just a passive observer going along for the ride.